This is Ricardo Powell, former West Indies cricketer, and he was one of the best hitters of the cricket ball back in his days. I was very young when I watched him play, and he was one of those players who would just come in and smash the ball all over the park and change the game, change the course of the game. My father is a huge fan, by the way, and he used to tell me that Ricardo Powell is in now. He can change the game. So, how are you, sir? Are you fine?
I'm doing
And
okay.
how is this quarantine going for you?
I'm doing okay, and thank you very much for having me on your show.
Yeah. So, how is your quarantine going right now? It's like there's a lockdown worldwide, and there's a lack of sports everywhere. But there has been some respite because yesterday the Taiwan Super League, sorry, earlier today Taiwan Super League T10 League kicked off. So, but apart from that, there has not been much cricket around. So, how is it going for you?
Well, it's going pretty quiet. I guess like everybody else who is at home and just waiting to see what is going to happen in their respective state or country. Really, authorities and how soon they'll be able to get this thing under control. But I'm surprised to hear that cricket is actually playing in Taiwan. That is definitely different based
Yes.
on what's happening in the rest of the world right now.
Yeah, yeah. It actually, today was the first day of the T10 league. There are going to be few more matches tomorrow as well. Three matches have been played today in the morning, and as far as I know, even the Vanuatu Super League was also held. So two nations are actually currently hosting cricket. So it's good to
Yeah,
be finally getting there, but the major players are not yet there yet.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
So I'd like to ask you a few questions. Lot of us want to know. So, since in your prime you were one of the best smashers of the ball, like you were very entertaining, and it's unfortunate that your peak didn't coincide with T20 cricket. So, if you were still playing and if you had a chance to play in the IPL, which team would you have played for?
Well, I mean, I think any international player now looking on at IPL or any other major league T20 franchise around the world, he'll be happy to play for almost any franchise. Obviously, the ones that are winning year after year, you want to join those franchise. But I think the cricket is so excited now that once you get an opportunity to play with any of those franchises, you'll be happy to make a difference in those teams.
Yeah, that's but don't you have a preference for any team?
I mean, I follow the Mumbai Indians a lot, the Delhi Daredevils as well, KKR. Those are some of my favorite teams that I follow, and yeah, I think being in Mumbai, that would be a good place to be. I think the franchise is well run and they take care of their players.
Yeah, honestly, I would have loved to watch you play T20 cricket. You were the epitome of a T20 player. You could have just entertained a lot of us. And I'm sure in Bangladesh, in the Bangladesh Premier League, we all love Chris Gale. We love Andre Russell. We would have loved you as well if you had played in the Bangladesh Premier League. Especially if I'm from Chittagong, so if you had played for
Yeah,
my state team, I would have been very happy. So it's like I just read a comment by someone. I think it was someone named Karthik. He just wrote here that you look like you could still smash it because you look fit. You look fit. So is there any chance that you could actually make a comeback in
well,
cricket?
most recently we were in India just before this pandemic started. We were playing the Legends T20 in Mumbai, and
Yes.
we
Yes.
played it. We played two game. The second game, I was able to get some runs in that game, and yeah, I still play T20 cricket when I do get the chance because it's a shorter version. I mean, 50 overs is a bit long, so I still keep myself fit and play when I can. Fortunately for me, when I played back in the days, I think I was playing T20 cricket and not knowing it then, but at least I was able to make an impact when I did play.
Yes. Yeah. If T20s came in at in like 2000 2001, we would have seen the like ultimate version. Like I think it would have been the best time for you to have been there because you were. I as a fan, I always enjoyed your batting because you would come and you would just play your shots, and it was beautiful, beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, since you have been in the West Indies cricket dressing room, I wanted to know a bit of things behind the stage, behind the scenes. So, could you recall any funny incident from your time in the main team?
Wow. I mean, it's been a while. I'm sure there always been a lot of incidents when you play against teams, especially fast bowlers, playing against Pakistan or even South Africa, when you play on certain wickets where people who would normally open the batting or who would normally go early in the innings based on the fast bowler that was bowling at the time felt sick and didn't want to go and bat. So you had youngsters in the team like myself who would have to step up and go open. But yeah, I think cricket is a game, and it's a great team sports, and anyone who is in a team like that, you're always gonna have moments that you will cherish and remember for the rest of your life, and that's what makes the sport so interesting.
That's true. That's true. So, who did you enjoy batting with the most?
Um, I mean, when I played, I enjoyed batting with Chris, Marlon Samuels, Sawan, Brian Lara, um, especially in the 50 over format. It was always good in terms of the rotation and the hard running between the wickets and just the explosiveness of these guys when they bat. The pressure was never on you alone to score, so it makes your batting a lot easier.
That's true. So, you've had the chance to play with Brian Charles Lara, and
Yeah.
he was perhaps one of the. I think I would say he's the greatest amongst the rest. If you put him in the bracket of Sachin and Ponting, he's up there with them. So, what made him different from the rest of the players? Like nobody has yet touched his record of 400 runs in Test. So, what made him different from the rest?
I mean, I think it was just his style. Brian, to me, when he played, he was also an entertainer. Outside of a record breaker and big run getter, he was an entertainer. And whenever he goes to bat, he would always entertain the crowd. People would always pay to see Brian bat because they know they would get a certain level of entertainment, and that's what made him really different when he played.
Okay, so and since he's not after his retirement, there has been a time in West Indies cricket where they haven't been as good as they once were in test cricket. So, what do you think happened? What went wrong from that point to this point?
Well, I think overall, I mean, the pendulum of Test cricket has really swung different ways in different countries in terms of how people have played the game and how they have adapted. England, Bangladesh, Australia, South Africa, the teams have come down, and they have improved in many other areas. And West Indies cricket has always been that kind of game that has been excited, entertaining, and for some reason they have transferred that into the shorter format of the game, and to be more deliberate in terms of the way they decide to go with teams and stuff like that. So I think West Indies really need to just focus more on making sure that they have players who only go in for tests, players for 50 overs who can also cross over to T20, but T20 is more of a specialized sports in both bowling, batting, and fielding. So they really have to try and separate the sports as much as they can in terms of the different format, and hopefully the guys in the test arena can really step up, starting from the first class level, and show that they are capable of playing long innings and really bowling long overs and being consistent in terms of the way they score their runs or the way they bowl to get their wickets. And I think that will change. But the way cricket, to me, the way cricket is heading right now, I don't think a lot of great emphasis has been placed on Test cricket because many people say it's a dying breed of cricket. I think it's still deserve to have its place, but you just have to accept that all the formats are changing and people are really following the faster version of the game more.
That's true. So you mentioned Bangladesh in your answer, and you mentioned that Bangladesh, our team, they have come very far from since when you were a player. So what do you think Bangladesh did well in these last 18, 19 years, especially in the last decade?
I think what they have done well is really stick with the talent that they know that will blossom. They didn't go in and change players after one or two failures. Overall, um, the talent pool has really grown because I mean I guess the Bangladesh cricket board have also allowed their players to step out and get experience overseas, playing in different franchises and stuff like that, and bringing international experienced coaches to really work with the guys, role models who can really connect with the locals and making sure that that transform into what the national team is. It's also about the fact that a lot of cricket is playing all over the world, and players now have a chance to see more role models and see the different style of players who they want to be like. And cricket is just work in action, and if it is that you can implement those hard work ethic, you can develop as a player and as a nation.
That's right. That's correct. So you've played with Bangladesh. You've played against Bangladesh. So you got any memories of anything particular against us, against when playing against us?
I've had a couple of good innings against Bangladesh, especially in
Yes,
Bangladesh. I
yes, you
remember
have.
my tour there. I made a 89. I'm not sure of the ground that it was, but it was a match winning 89 that I played, and yeah, I mean my tour there was really good. It was very memorable because I got a couple, as I said, couple half centuries there, and it's been one of my favorite tour to date in terms of batting wise. I think I was pretty much at the peak during that time in terms of my batting. Pretty much fearless and just going out there and playing the style of cricket that I love to play.
Yeah, you actually terrorized us a lot back then. I remember those innings. You were phenomenal back then. Like you smashed our bowlers all over the park. But suppose you were still playing, which bowler would you have liked to face from Bangladesh,
Hmm.
or would not have liked to face rather? Which bowler would you rather want to avoid while playing Bangladesh if you were still a player, still an
Um,
international player?
that's a very hard question because Bangladesh right now they have quite a few good bowlers who are very big on the world stage. I know recently you all have, I'm trying to remember his name offhand because I'm not very good with names. Left arm seam bowler who has burst on the scene within the last 2.5, 3 years, and he's been doing really well. I've always had difficulties with left arm bowlers who tend to get the ball at a good length and nip back into the right hander because when I played I had an issue with my head. I was falling over a lot, which has no corrected because back in the days when I played, the coaches who I had was not able to detect those issues. But I mean, yeah, I think overall I would pinpoint any specific bowler, but Bangladesh cricket has really improved, and you can see that from the recent Under 19 World Cup how much the sports has grown and how much the players have really adapted to what is necessary at the next level, and that is coming through at the Under 19 level. So you can tell that the future of cricket in Bangladesh will be something that's going to be special in the coming years because of the young talent that they have.
So, since you're speaking of the future, who do you think is the next big star from Bangladesh?
I'm not, as I said, I mean, I recently, I would watch snippet and highlights of the World Cup under 19. I cannot tell you the exact name of the players, but I just felt that from what I saw, the team more than the players is what I saw. The level of enthusiasm that the guys had and the way they play as a team and win that World Cup. And I think that is more important than any one player to represent
Yes.
a country. I think once you have that kind of team spirit and guys working together for the greater good of the country, that you will have more success than one or two players being good by themselves.
That's correct. Since the United team has done very well, so I guess future might just be bright for us. So uh, I have this in T20 cricket. West Indies have won two World Cups, and the World Cup winning captain in those tournaments was Darren Sammy. But after that, he was dropped from the captain's role. What did you make of that decision from the West Indies Cricket Board? This might be a little controversial question,
Controversial.
but yeah, it might be a little controversial, but I just wanted to know your views.
I mean, when you look at the World Cup, the fact that they win, yes, there were several statements that was made after the World Cup. But it's West Indies cricket. You can never predict what's going to happen in the year, the month, the week, and I think that whole controversy of the board and the players and stuff like that keeps West Indies cricket also interested. So I cannot tell you off the bat in terms of what exactly happened. But I said it's not a surprise to anybody when things like that happen because it's a continuation. It's like a cycle, and once the board continues to operate the way they do. I mean, things have changed somewhat now with a new president and a whole new outlook on how they're going to develop West Indies cricket. So I think something like that, we will have to wait and see how things progress with the inclusion of more West Indians being involved and the communication between the current crop of players and stuff like that. So I think every board have their issues, whether it be Bangladesh
That's
or West Indies, India. And at the end of the day, once the cricket benefits and grow, I think that's one of the most important things.
that's true. So at this point, I think we'll take some questions from the fans. I see a lot of questions pouring in for you, and as which is expected because there are a lot of fans of you in Bangladesh. So there's one question from Abid Mohammed. He asks, "Who is your favorite IPL captain?"
Okay, favorite IPL captain. I'm a big fan of MS. To be honest, a very very big fan of MS. So I would probably go with MS.
That's a pretty. I think that was pretty. You didn't hesitate
No,
before answering that. So you were just you had a sure choice with MS with MS.
yes.
He's one of the best, perhaps the best of our time. And then there's a question from Intisar Shawan. He's asking, tell us about any memory about Bangladesh.
Well, I said it comes back to my favorite innings. That innings, I don't remember the name of the ground. I think you might have to help me with this. I remember leaving the capital to drive. I think we did drive to this ground. It was a couple hours out of the city, and I made the 89 there. I don't remember the name of the ground exactly because it was so long ago. I think it was in 2001. It was we made an 89 against Bangladesh, and it was probably my favorite innings and one of the best memories that I had because we were struggling. We almost lost that game, and that innings really helped us to pull back.
I think you were talking about Fatullah in Dhaka.
Okay.
I think it might have been that stadium if I recall correctly. I'll have to check it again, but I think it's that, and it must have been a lucky ground for you because you won your team that game. And there's a question from Syed Sami. He asks, "Who is the toughest bowler you've ever faced?"
Wow, I faced quite a few. In terms of fast bowling, I would probably say Wazim Akram.
Awesome.
Um, Spin bowling, it's a tie between Shane Warne and Machaya Malitharan. I think those were the two toughest spin bowlers that I faced.
These are they were indeed the best bowlers of that generation. So and to the fans, if you have any question for Mr. Powell, you can use the comment section and you can ask him. He's be here with us for a little longer. And speaking of bowlers from your era, you in back in your days, we had Wasim, we had Wakar, we had Shoaib Akhtar, we had Bradley. There were so many great bowlers. There was Shane Bond, perhaps the best bowler to never break it. And West Indies also had a lot of great bowlers, Phil Edwards, Jerome Taylor. So right now we don't see as much diversity in terms of pace bowling as well as spin in modern day, because back then we had Shane Warne, we had Muralidharan, but now we can't pinpoint any spinner who could be the next Murali or who could be the next Warne. Why do you think that has been the case? Is it because of the game becoming more and more batsman oriented?
No, I think the format now that they play, especially T20, every bowler has to have this special skill. And whilst I say that, I think we had, and we still have very skilled spin bowlers. I mean, I think for a very long time, Sunil Narayan was very unplayable in the shorter version, um, and still is one of the top spinners in the world in terms of T20 cricket. So we still have clever bowlers, and it's just that batsmen have become even more skilled, and and bowlers now have to work harder for their wicket in terms of the way they try to change up. I think I've lost you. I think we have lost connection.
He will join in a while. Just a second. Okay?
Okay, okay.
No, just he is joining in a while.
Sorry, Mr. Powell. Actually, my internet connection just blew over for a while. Extremely
Yeah.
sorry for that. Sorry for that. Uh, I actually got disconnected due to the bad poor connection. Anyway, so we were talking about bowlers in general, and you spoke of Mustafizur Rahman a while ago. Okay, we have another
Yeah.
question. It's from Azam. Do you you were born in the wrong time because the T20 would have suited you most?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, none of us could have predicted that, T20 was going to blow up the way it did. And I'm happy that I played during the time that I played. I was fortunate enough to play 7 years. Yes, I would have loved to play some T20 cricket, but I think I was fortunate enough and blessed to play when I did. And I'm still involved in the game in many ways. And we are as good as we are during the time that we played. And if you look at world cricket now, especially with T20, how many skilled and powerful players you have. So maybe playing in this T20 format now, maybe I would not have stand out the way I did when I played 50 overs, because you have a lot of good T20 players in the world right now. And I would probably just have been one of those guys.
All right, and I think we have another question for you. There's Nahian Arifin Ditto. He asks, "Who is your favorite opponent?"
My favorite opponent, of course, India. I always love playing against India, and my record against them speak for itself. And I guess that's the main reason why my career is as popular as it
There's
is
another
right now.
question for you. He asks, "Who is your favorite opponent?"
Yeah, favorite opponent again would be India. My record speaks for itself, and that's one of the main reasons why right now I am as popular as I am in world cricket. And I see the questions popping up here. It's
Yeah, there
like,
are lots of questions. Okay, so there's another question from Intisar Shawan. He asks, Mashrafi or Shakib, who would you choose as your captain?
Brian Lara.
No, it's between Mashrafi and Shakibul Hasan. Who would you choose
Oh,
between these
Shakib,
two?
Shakib, Shakib.
Why is that the case? Why not Mashrafi? Mashrafi is the statistically the most successful ODI captain. So why not
No,
Mashrafi?
I
Why
think
Shakib?
it's a matter of I think it's a matter of personality, someone who you've known and you've interacted with before. And I think that's probably something that any player will tell you in terms of who they feel that they would get along with based on personality and stuff like that. Taking away nothing from his records and what he has done. It's just a matter of favoritism in terms of who you would want to be your captain.
Well, that's a nice answer. So I think we'll wrap up in a while. Before we leave, I would request you to say a few words regarding Bangladesh cricket and regarding Cricfrenzy as in general, the page we've been live on for so long.
Yeah, I mean, basically what I've said about Bangladesh cricket, I think it's on the right path. With the recent victory of the Under 19 World Cup, as I said, you can ask for nothing better from a team. It's better to have a winning team with a very good unit of young players coming up that is going to really work better for the country in terms of their future going forward than one or two exceptional players. And that speaks volume for Bangladesh cricket. And I look forward to seeing a lot of these young players who did well at this World Cup coming through to represent the country one day. And people like yourself, in terms of Cricfrenzy, in terms of how much cricket you cover and what you bring to the people of Bangladesh and the world in general, that you continue to keep that flag flying high and making sure that you spread the good news of cricket so that people can stay up to date and stay current with players from all over the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your message, and it was an honor having this discussion with you. Even though there was a bit of a problem in my internet connection, I apologize for that. But apart from that, it was a great session, a great insightful session, and I hope that someday we'll have this once again, and hopefully in the near future we can, have cricket back again
Yeah,
after
man.
because it's
Yes.
been a bit boring, so to speak.
Yes. Yes. Get a chance to catch up on all the old games and highlights and stuff like that.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care, you too.